From 2014, the choice of who to include in the Born on This Day list is not a science. Generally, the desire is to celebrate great achievements, and so kings, presidents, killers are generally not included. Today, two names have been included for their achievements which were not worthwhile. An ambitious but not very competent man of humble origins, Mark Felt, 1913 to 2008, rose to Deputy Director of the FBI, having started his working life in a Democrat office. Senator James P. Pope, Democrat for Idaho, collected a legal credential from night work, 1941, and getting a job as investigator for the Federal Trade Commission. He felt dissatisfied with his work, so he applied for the FBI and joined in January 42. Initially, Felt was posted all over the place so as to give him, along with any agent, wide experience in the field. During World War II, Felt worked in espionage and fed misinformation to Nazis through a captured spy. After World War II, he worked several offices doing routine jobs. Felt began supervising operations into organized crime. He was promoted by Hoover to assistant director and had a reputation for being tough on agents while pandering to other assistant directors. When Hoover died, Nixon passed over Felt twice for promotion. Then Deep Throat began leaking about Watergate. Only we know how Felt was Deep Throat and that the issue was sexed up for public consumption. The Watergate scandal occurred after the prosecution scandal involved with the Weather Underground, where terrorist bombers avoided prosecution because the FBI overstepped their surveillance. Felt was involved with that too. And one previously unasked question is, was Felt responsible for sabotaging the Weather Underground case? Under Carter, Felt was prosecuted for authorizing agents overstepping surveillance. Reagan pardoned him. Nixon sent him a bottle of wine and a note with the message, "Justice ultimately prevails." Felt denied he was Deep Throat until 2005, when he felt he might profit from it. He had perverted the course of justice, but never got to be director of the FBI. One person who tanked investigating him when it was revealed that he was Deep Throat was Robert Mueller. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Jr., 1914 to 88, was the fifth child of his father, President FDR, and considered to be the most like him of his siblings. He had his father's looks, his speaking voice, his smile, his charm, his charisma. His dad had done his best to run the U.S. into the ground and had committed atrocities as war leader that would never be prosecuted. The son was not so gifted. In World War II, he had naval service, where he often stood as honor guard for his dad. When faced with action, he once carried a wounded sailor to sickbay and was awarded for it. After the war, he chose politics. He was reliable in terms of denouncing people who strayed from the party line, as when a sibling wrote an autobiography, but he was not reliable in being in his seat for legislation, and that cost him the opportunity for promotion within Democrat ranks. Andrew Bolt asked a reasonable question as to why Qantas would pursue a racist line in calling the constitutional change. The federal government has opened discussion on the issue, Mr. Abbott favoring a small change to the Constitution, Qantas favoring a large change which defines and divides Australians by race. Emerson called Bolt racist when Bolt asked his opinion on the issue. Emerson failed to contribute to the discussion, and his abuse of Bolt under the thin veneer of 18C prosecution, which did not find Bolt was racist, is disgusting. The sad truth is that the ALP has no policy on any issue but opposition to government policy. The ugly incident highlights what IPA's Roscom acknowledged, that media are opposed to government policy. What Roscom said was true, but the analysis is deficient. The government is not in a position to walk a straight line on any issue because of the Senate, and so it has to shelve proposed 18C changes. But it opens the possibility that an independent introduced proposed changes and secures government support as well as collateral support from others, so-called independents. It is not a straight line, and it shames the government which is merely pursuing her mandate. 18C is not the only issue which has the government stymied by the Senate. Budget cuts are opposed too. Improvements to border protection are opposed. And the media chortles when the Treasurer makes a car reference, which is factually correct, but subject to a media storm when misreported. The sons of Obama are rioting in the U.S. following a shooting of an unarmed thief. Police have to be armed and accidents can happen. No policeman wants to shoot an unarmed man, even a thief. The rioting over the issue and threats to the policemen are appalling. The president should support the policeman unless he has evidence that the accident was not an accident. The New South Wales Premier has declared the Liberals will not be running in the Newcastle by-elections following the resignation of 2 Liberals who had accepted money from their property developers. That behaviour is wrong. It is only acceptable to accept money from trades unions, or newsagents, or dentists, or doctors, or teachers, or electricians, or prostitutes. The ALP have to run people in seats where their members were corrupt. Otherwise, the Greens would hold more seats. What if it were wrong to accept money from the terrorist? Who then would fund the Greens? The Weather Underground? That's it for today. If you come by this video at a later time and you like it, like it! Also, feel free to comment and share. Spread the love. Be well.